Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Afternoon or evening, wherever you are, listeners. Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. My name is Carol, and I'm here with Greta and the Realm of Beings, and we are joined again by Kathy. Very happy to have her with us. We're very happy to be here on Transformation Network every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time or 8 a.m. Pacific Time. Listeners, thank you for being part of this experience. These conversations will help you look at your life and at your creation of reality so that you can see what you're creating and how it's affecting your life. You are able to see how it shows up, gain a new perspective, and possibly shift to what you want to create instead of what you're creating. Welcome. If you're new to the podcast, we are given a quote from the Realm of Beings through Greta every week, and we will discuss that quote in probably all kinds of details. And later on in the program, we will be joined by the Realm of Beings so that they could give their input exactly what they felt when they gave this quote to Greta. This week, we have a big, long quote. It is, aggression against each other is a sign that the aggressor lacks love of self and is being guided by low vibration. These humans focus to destroy another emotionally or physically, sometimes in war and altercations. And they think they're being supported by a directive from a higher power. They do not understand that they are actually destroying themselves because all is one. Being in inner peace and high vibration supports love of self and cancels aggression and the aggressor. This speaks to me almost on like a global scale, with what's going on in our news stories, with all the stuff going on all over the world. There's all kinds of wars and altercations. But I honestly narrowed this down to a personal level about feeling aggression, because I actually had a situation this week where I did feel quite aggressive. I recognized it and still had difficulty controlling it. So, we like to think about making the world a better place, but honestly, I think we need to start with ourselves and make ourselves the better place as a starting point. Does anyone want to weigh in on that?
Do you mind if I go, Greta?
Go ahead, Kathleen.
Because this one, I actually woke myself up laughing last night. Because I know my entire life, everyone tried to make me stick up for myself and be, it's just not in me to be that, used to not be me to want to be aggressive. And it's just a very hard thing for me I don't like it when I hurt someone or when I feel like I have to be aggressive to protect myself. And I'm learning I don't really have to be. But one thing that had me cracking up is the one time I tried to stick up for myself when I was little. I don't know why. My mother used to take her shoe and come after us. I took my shoe off, my little size 4, my little tiny little shoe, because my cousin made me so mad and I went to hit her. I didn't check to see what size shoe she wore. I never saw that whale slipper coming at me. And to this day, I don't know if I backed out or what, but I learned from that experience.
I love it. I love it.
Don't
That's
do
great.
that. Don't do that. The other thing I thought about on a personal level, Carol, is you learn aggressive behaviors and
Yes.
what promotes these aggressive behaviors. And for a long time growing up, I said, this might be a microaggression, so forgive me for this, but I used to think that every person, especially African American families, they had to buy houses with hedges in front of them so that we could pick our switches and you couldn't come back with a small one so that we could get a beating. I was switching with that. And, I never enjoyed that. And I'm proud to say I was never switched for the same thing twice because I learned from the switching. But it's a heck of a way to learn a lesson.
Well, I think in this particular quote, Greta, correct me if I'm wrong, but the word aggression is being used in a low vibration form. Aggression against another person, aggression against another nation, aggression against a group of people. But aggressive behavior doesn't necessarily have to be low vibration. I mean, if you're aggressive in your professional field, that's looked at as a good thing.
If you're a man.
Be promoted. Well, yeah, that's true too. The glass ceiling.
The other thing is that if you're loving yourself, you don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be aggressive at all, because love of self, and that is what the realm is teaching constantly, because when you love yourself, that means that you're not going to attract people that are going to try. They will not be aggressive toward you, because see that the statement that we always make is create, support, create. I'm going to support you where you're at. That's how this works. And it not only works here, it's a protocol for existence. Because I've worked with other species other than humanoids, and they go through the same thing. That's why I can say that, So you don't have to. It says aggression against each other is a sign that the aggressor lacks love of self. That's right. First of all, you don't love yourself if you've got to go up and slap somebody upside the head, or you've got to take a gun and kill them. Think you're killing them, or right. Whatever you're going to do. Because see, like my aggressive experiences have all been domicile experiences within the home. I've had that, and I've had the opportunity where I created that I had to defend my life. Otherwise, Greta would not be here today talking to you. So, but it's still, that's because I did not love myself. That's the bottom line. So those people who are sitting in relationships where the other partner is highly aggressive, change your way of thinking about yourself. Don't worry about that person. Because when you change to the fact that you love and appreciate yourself, it's going to look like that person changed, but they didn't. You changed. You have the control over what's coming to you. And see, when you are abused, physically abused, and you're in abusive situations like that, you don't think like that. You think it's the other person, when in actuality, it's yourself. You change you change the experiences that you receive from the other person. Yeah.
I think you could even bring it down. I know when I used to do a lot of traveling, commuting to and from work, and boy, was there aggressive behavior on the roads. And a lot of that started with me. And I did learn how to control that and understand there was no need for me to feel aggressive or to feel someone else was being aggressive to me. I understood it as creation of reality. And yet, this past week, I had an incident where it was almost as if I was viewing it from outside my body. And I was like, why is this person behaving aggressively, which is causing me to feel aggression? And I know I'm creating it. Why am I creating it? And I never quite figured it out, why I created that. But it was just so apropos that this was our quote this week after me having that challenge.
Well, I know the behaviors that were shown to me, the aggressive behaviors. I was in that period where I did not love Greta. I did not appreciate Greta. So I created aggression in the marriages that I had, both verbal, emotional, psychological. I created all of that. So this statement, this quote is a wonderful quote, especially for people who are in abusive relationships. You know, you can change that around, and you change that around by loving you, by really loving you. And sometimes that's challenging because we've been taught not to love ourselves. I know I was. That's why I created all the confusion and mayhem in my life in the first place, because I was taught that. Go ahead, Kathy.
Yeah, Greta, you can have it almost seems like to me, looking at things from a broader perspective, from a historical perspective, there seems like there could be collective groups of aggressive people, aggressors. And so sometimes it seems as though we're blaming the victims and not the aggressors. When you say, if you loved yourself, then this would not have happened. Like with the First Nations people, when the colonizers came and the land grabbers and all of this aggressive behavior directed towards them. Sometimes when we say that, and I'm just saying, there are probably some people out there listening that say, well, what about that? Like, why are you making the victim even more of a victim? Because they didn't love themselves.
See, with what you just said, first you have to create yourself to be a victim.
Yeah.
It's not that you're just a victim. You've got to create yourself to be that. Because everything that you experience personally, you have created. So you can create that as a group, or you can create, but get this, let's even take it into African American culture where we came here as slaves. Okay, that's a collective group. However, inside that collective group are individual realities being created by those individual people. So that you can decide you can be a part of the group, but at the same time, you're creating your own reality inside that group. So this is not to set up, and I think it's a good point, it's not to set up blame of somebody. It's to understand and accept the fact that you created something so you can change it. If you go into this situation thinking that you are a victim and you believe you're a victim, then you're going to continue to be one. So the thing is, once you recognize that you created it, that gives you what the word that I don't like to use too much, but it seems like I'm using it a lot lately, and that is power. That is where your power is. To know that, hey, I created this so that I can uncreate it. So it's not about making somebody a victim. It's about giving them power. Internal power, really, really focusing on who they truly are, because we're truly divine. Therefore, we don't have to be anybody's victim unless we so create it, because that's part of a lesson that we want to learn. But it's not blaming anybody at all.
But for the people across I'm sorry, go ahead, Carol.
Well, I was just going to say, it's funny we're using the word victim. Many, many years ago, when I was much younger, um, I used to be in some what others would call dicey situations.
Were you a bully?
And no, I was not a bully. I just was in dangerous neighborhoods I had no business being in, doing activities I had no business doing. Enough said. The point is that I put myself in situations, and this was before I knew anything about creation of reality. My statement that I used to tell people is I have never been a victim because I say victims think, look, and act like victims, and that's how they become victims. They attract it to themselves. And here I am all these years later, and I understand that that was exactly what was going on. And I, in my mind, decided I am never going to be a victim because I'm not going to attract that to me. And, nothing bad ever happened, or what people would call bad. So I think I had a better understanding of creation of reality before I knew what it was. Now that I know what it is, I think I struggle more.
Yeah, no, but when they say, we're all baby boomers. We grew up during the civil rights movement. And I mean, the whole nonviolent thing and the whole biblical thing, turn the other cheek. So if someone walks up and punches you in your face, I'm supposed to turn the other cheek. Now, I might have created to get hit, but I think deep inside, I might also say, ooh, support, create, support. And I might have to turn around and create to not to hit that person back. If I'm brave enough, I know I would. If somebody punched me in my face, Kathy's good. I'm gonna go. Plus I'm not gonna put myself in a situation where it's gonna get like that because I can read body language very, very well. Most teachers can too. Ooh, okay, let's not let this get out of hand. But it's, to me, this is a very challenging quote for the people listening to this podcast and for the people really even across the planet. Because how you can love yourself, but I guess just seeing the whole totality or the big picture of, if I'm living in Palestine right now or the Gaza Strip, and what you're saying is none of them are loving themselves, which is why they're being eradicated. But how do we show them or teach them, or these people, that because you don't love yourself, this is what's happening? Because you're being, because you can look at other people as aggressors. You can look at them as aggressors. I mean, both sides. Let's just kind of not take sides. I'm not saying that. I'm just looking at situations. I'm looking at what happened in the Congo when King Leopold went there and slaughtered millions of Africans, just whacked off arms and their hands so they couldn't even feed themselves. And it's like, I guess part of it is, how do we, I guess it's for the realm, how do we not continue this aggressive behavior? How do we as humans move towards this oneness where this whole aggressive behavior goes away? I mean, it's very perplexing to me. It really is it's a big challenge, Greta. I'm not going to lie.
I think we have to just look at it as individuals and remember that the only person that can do anything is you to yourself. And we have no control over what's happening globally. And throughout history, as you know, as a history teacher, how many conquerors were called the Great, Alexander the Great, because of all the land he conquered? People, at least I remember in my history class, no one ever told us he also was a mass genocide person. He would invade a country and it's like, are you going to follow what I say? Nope, kill them all, women, children, everybody. And he did that throughout the entire so-called huge empire, and they call him the Great.
Yeah, but seriously, he only lasted 33 years.
Yeah. And they think he was buried alive, that what he had was that syndrome that causes you to be paralyzed. I heard
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Look what he created.
Wow.
Maybe he needed to create that. But there are others, even Genghis Khan. is another example. And the Mongols think he was the greatest leader of all times. He slaughtered his way through Asia. They all do. And we as individuals, while we may not approve of that kind of behavior, we still have to understand that it's not up to us to teach them, hey, stop that. You're creating reality wrong, you know?
But it's a global lesson. It's a global lesson to me. And the global lesson is loving yourself unconditionally. And when you love yourself, you won't be aggressive. You won't have a lot of those low vibrational things, or they won't be able to impact you or affect you as much as they do now. But I mean, it's like, how much longer is it going to go on? And I know I'm only responsible for myself. I understand that. But it's too slow to me. It's just very slow. It's like, well, one person at a time, one person at a time. And it's like, I'm tired of one person at a time, because one person at a time, but 100 at a time are biting the dust. So how do we?
You know what is the underlying thing of this is with aggression?
What?
Separation.
Yep.
See it doesn't say that, but it alludes to that separation. And that separation is one of the big lessons that we have decided that we wanted to learn inside this reality. So separation, as long we separate ourselves by economic status in all around the world, we separate ourselves by religion and religious beliefs all around the world. We separate ourselves by cultural frameworks all around the world. So we are supporting separation. As we support separation, then it is easy to support aggression.
Okay.
Look at how many people in the, I can never get the acronym correctly, but those who have chosen a different sexual path, as the
LGBTQ. I forget it all too. I know what you mean, though.
Look how many people have been aggressive toward that group of people because they see them as something different.
And that comes from fear. People fear what they don't understand.
Then we're getting
and
down
if someone
even
is
deeper.
different from you, you fear them, and that's where the aggression comes in.
Well, then you get the fear. Let's track it, because this is like reverberation. What is the fear? It's reverberating to that I'm separated from you. If I see myself separated from you in any way, shape, or form, then I can really get into an aggressive behavior with you. Especially I can take your land. I can come in and take your culture, or try and take your culture. Look how many groups of people have had that experience. And then the very people that turn around and have had the experience turn around and discriminate other people.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean, and that's very evident in Israel and in the Gaza Strip, because they're not only the Jewish people. Look at their how they treated the Ethiopian Jews when they came into Israel. I mean, there were some horrible things that were done. So there's discrimination against another group of people right there inside Israel.
Yeah, they're supposed to be the same, treat the same. You welcome home, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and that, I mean, then only a certain group of them go out to decide who is really a Jewish person, and that's why they challenged whether or not they were going to they were embarrassed they had to bring the fallacious in there, whatever you call them, because they said anybody that was Jewish had to be accepted. But then they put up all of these, like, I think there's a little Africa in there. But anyway, it happens everywhere. It just does, based on the same principles. That's the bottom line. And it's all separation.
Absolutely. And I remember when I was studying clinical psych, I had to do a paper, and I did my paper on war rape, which is another aggression against, but it's been banned by way of the United Nations now. But at that time, there was war rape where the group of men would go in and rape the women of the other tribal group or group, and then that woman would be looked upon in a very bad light, so she'd have to turn to the group that actually raped her. And then the children, it was giving the opportunity for the tribe that was being aggressive to grow in population and to have more people fighting for them, because now they make the women pregnant, take the women and the children. It's amazing to me what people do as far as, aggressions against other people. Look at when the Japanese invaded China.
Oh, the rape of Nanking, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at the Holocaust that the Chinese went through here in this country, which most people don't even talk about. I remember that when I was working at a publishing company, I won't call their name now, and I was writing a piece, an educational piece, a reader. I was developing a reader. And I put in that reader, I decided to write about the Chinese coming to America. And I put in there the Chinese, it was a very simple book because it was for young kids. But I put in there the Chinese were brought to America. And when you're in a publishing company, you usually send your work around 3 times for different editors to look at it and comment on. Everybody sent my work back to me saying, took out the word brought and put in the word came. And I said, the only reason why they could do that is because they didn't know the history behind this. So I took it back out. I was the lead editor on my own work. So I took that out and put brought back in there, and that's how it went, that they were brought. I didn't talk about how they were murdered when they were finished doing that railroad that people take from one end of the country to the other, But, so, people, it's also for, and then it's for people to open up and study and look at things. But look what's happening in Florida. That's an aggression as well.
Oh, most definitely.
It's an aggression to keep people from understanding what has happened to other groups of people. You see, that is an aggression. That is a emotional and psychological aggression. Look at the aggression that was shown to the people who were the first responders at 9/11. And the people who helped to clean up the pile are at this time in 2024 still getting sick and dying. And look how long it took, 15 to 17 years for this country, this government, to pass a law that would help people who had given their lives for this country. That's an aggressive act too. Also, I don't want to get on a soapbox, because then I know if I get on a soapbox, I'll really stay there. But the thing is that we go back to love of self. And I know that can be challenging. I know it was challenging for me. So I'm not saying I hope the audience does not take that when I say that, oh, you just snap your fingers and you love yourself.
Hecky no. And when you said if somebody hit you in your eye, I've had a black eye. I've had, one of my husbands haul off and bigger than me, because I'm only 5'4" and he was over 6 feet. And a big strapping person didn't like what I said. And before I knew it, the man had hit me in my eye. And my eye turned black. So that he was aggressive. But then you know what? I became aggressive. Because then I remember one day we had a altercation. I just simply told him, I said, if you hit me again, we had some, the man who owned the apartment building was doing some work, and it had planks down on the floor, 2x4s, and the 2x4s happened to be in the bedroom. I told him, I said, if you come at me again, I'm going to let you hit me. That's okay. But I want you to know I'm going to get up and I'm going to go over there and get one of those 2x4s, and I'm going to kick your A.
And I would have said, don't go to sleep.
That's right. So I became the aggressor. So there's an aggression meeting aggression. So what did that do?
It's like one eye open.
It didn't help. It didn't help the whole situation. Eventually I divorced him, because he was physically abusive. He married someone else, and then I know he was physically abusive to her. But, that was her. That was me not loving myself. That goes back to when I was a kid. Mama taught me you were no good. You're like your dad. So the other people I know that have gone through experiences where their parents have guided them and have instructed them not to love themselves. You see? So we must.
That's hard to undo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, let me not even keep going about my life.
Yeah, because it seems normal, because we've normalized it.
We've normalized it because we were taught to normalize it.
Exactly.
We were taught not to love ourselves. We were taught that people can be aggressive toward you, and you can try and be aggressive back, but what does that do? It just makes you angry. It just
perpetuates it.
Hurts your liver, hurts your whole body. It offers you up to be, the aggressor, because it says there. I think what does it say? I'm looking at it up here. And sometimes in war altercations think they are being supported by, well, that's that one, but they do not understand that they are actually destroying themselves. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that when I said to that man, I'm going to beat you with this, and I meant it. I was an aggressive person. I want you to know that. There was a, in the evening news, and I used to walk to work sometimes at a school I was teaching. It was close by. There was a rapist in the area where I lived. And so I knew about it, and I said, well, I always believe, this was before I even learned about creation of reality. But I realized that, I can take care of myself. I'm getting older now, but I know I still can do it. So I was explaining this to one woman, and I said, I was walking to school, and I realized that rapist was on the street 1 block away from me. And I remember saying, please do not let that man come over here to attack me, because I don't want to be responsible for killing him. Now that's where I was at. Because I said, you come over here to rape me, and I've already gone through physically abusive relationships. I just said to myself, you come over here, I'm going to kill you. That's bottom line. So you stay where you are because I don't want to be responsible for that. I don't want to be responsible. So I go home, and what happens? A woman a block away from where I was got raped that same day in the morning, going to work. Black
Wow.
out. Well, see, she was afraid. I wasn't afraid. I said, you're not going to bring that.
You attract what you fear.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I know time is here on you.
Ladies, it's time for us to take a short break. So listeners, please stay with us. We'll be back. Welcome back, listeners. Thank you for staying with us. We're at the portion of the podcast where the realm of beings will come in and discuss the quote that we have been given. Realm, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay, Realm, we have a big, long quote this week.
Aggression against another is a sign that the aggressor lacks love of self and is being guided by low vibration. These humans focus to destroy another emotionally or physically, and sometimes in war altercations. And they think they are being supported by a directive from a higher source, capital H and capital S. They do not understand that they are actually destroying themselves because all is one. Being in inner peace, high vibration, supports love of self and cancels aggression and the aggressor.
Absolutely. I know that that's a long one. But what we are still want people to understand that peace comes about because of non-aggression. Peace. And there are many of you who have set aside times where you concentrate and meditate on peace. But first, It's to make peace inside yourself. Peace is one way to eliminate aggressive behaviors here, because in peace and contentment comes ease. They're all connected together, you see. Peace and ease and calmness, understanding and compassion. They are all related to each other in some way or another. Now, what comes with aggression comes hate. It has the desire to destroy. But because we are one with everything, you are only destroying yourselves. In these wars that you have here, that are supported not only by beings here, other humans here, but it's also supported by forces outside of this earth that you are not knowledgeable about. At least most of you are not. So you are getting bombarded with the desire to keep up aggressive behaviors here. Why? Because it supports a certain energy. Everything is energy. When you show hate, when you show an aggressive behavior, then that is energy. That is low vibrational energy. So when you think about this world and you think about aggressions, look how many of them there are. There are aggressions here against other people singly. There are aggressions against other people as far as groups. There are even aggressive behaviors dealing with the earth itself. Look at not to treat the earth with respect. Look at changing, what do you have? You call it global warming. Not taking care of the rivers. Not look at the polar bears that have decided to transition because the polar caps are melting. That is all aggressive behavior to develop this, to dislike nature. It's all right to destroy the Amazon rainforest. That's aggression. So if you look at it, this whole being called Earth has a myriad of experiences going on within its realities that support aggressive behavior. So now, if you're one person, how can you correct all of that? You cannot. Because everyone came in here deciding they wanted to experience this humanoid way of being. And part of learning that is to learn that no one and nothing is separate from the other. That's a biggie. That is a biggie. And you stated it, ladies, when you said aggression, whichever one of you stated it, that aggressive behavior is separation. It's got to come from that. I don't see you as one with me. Therefore, I have the opportunity to destroy you if I so wish it. You see, but you don't recognize. That's the irony of this whole thing. You don't recognize that you are destroying yourselves. When you destroy someone else, you are destroying yourself, you see. So this is the thing. And you've gone through many, many experiences that support the non-love of another being, you see. I feel that someone wishes to say something.
I just would like to take a step back when you mentioned outside of the Earth that there are other species that are contributing to our aggressive behavior that we're not aware of. Can you expound on that? And what can we as humanoids do about it?
We can expound on it because there is a dictate from the gods that created this universe, that there is supposed to be throughout the universe unconditional love. And people have been working on that, not only just people, because when I say people, then we're talking about humanoids. There are individuals, sentient beings all over this universe that are supporting unconditional love. Earth happens to be one that is not. It is still part of low vibration. You will know when it's no longer part of low vibration because you won't be seeing somebody fighting for somebody to get off their land because the land belongs to them. How can that be? When the land is the land, and the land only belongs to the earth. The earth is allowing you to share itself with you. That is all it is doing. It is a being unto itself. You do not own it. It allows you to be here. It allows you to share its space. It's a being that thinks and feels just like you do. So there are other beings here, and if I'm not mistaken, that's about 8% or 9% of the universe that still wishes to remain in low vibration. And why have they chosen Earth to do that? Because if you stay in low vibration, there are beings that like to absorb low vibrational energy. So when they're coming, they can soak up that low vibrational energy that is present here on this planet that you call Earth. There you go. And there are many of them. When we say 9%, 9% of the universe,
A lot of people.
look how many beings are here. So 9% may seem very small. If you were looking at it on a pie chart, the 9% would look small. However, it's big. And how do you fight that? Yes.
Well, I have a question. Well, I don't know if it's a question or not, but I have forgotten, or I did not remember when you spoke about the different types of aggression, the aggression towards that we do to the earth, all of that kind of stuff, and land ownership. I do know that there are a lot of cultures on this planet that did not believe in land ownership. The land belonged to everyone. However, I want to move past it. I'm looking at what I call the pot stirrers now. And I was wondering, because what came to me, my question is, was the internet created to generate or to allow low vibrational individuals to create and keep a lot of chaos and low vibrational energy flowing? Because when you look at the internet, I mean, it's been weaponized. That's the words that are used to create chaos, and it's all instantaneous now. It doesn't take 6 weeks for a message to get to a person. It takes 6 seconds, and it gets people all constantly stirred up. Even like the 24-hour news cycles, it's like one after the other, after the other, after the other. So my question is, was it created for that purpose?
No, You can look at the internet and you can see that it is an opportunity to provide unity. It is an opportunity to learn about other cultures so that you can become more one and understanding what they've gone through. Now, there are individuals that, because they are based in low vibration, are going to be showing, placing things there to stimulate others to follow low vibration.
Right.
But you see that what we're saying, and we've said it, that when you love yourself, your individual self, when you love your individual self, you're not even going to want to even listen to it or look at it. You see, anyway. So it's an individual thing. And how you use something, how you use it, is based on who you are internally. You can use the internet to do wonderful things with it, to learn wonderful things. Or you can use the internet to support you in your low vibration by showing you all the wars, showing you the people being maimed, showing you the people who are being physically and sexually abused. You can use that to support you in being low vibration. So the bottom line is for each one of us and each one of you to decide, which side do you want to work with? Do you want to work in high vibration, or do you want to work in low vibration? That is the decision. And what is that decision based on? That decision is based on the lessons that you have chosen to learn here in this illusory reality. Everything here is an illusion to begin with. But you choose the path you wish to walk. You see. And we cannot say which path each person has chosen. We can only judge it. We can judge, we can put judgment to it and say, okay, this is not a good path. But maybe it's a good path for that person because that is supporting the lessons that they chose to learn. You see, there are lessons in everything. There's a lot of things combined within this, not just one thing. There's a lot of things combined into that term, aggression. It can mean many things. You can even, one of you said, I think it was you, Kathy, that said that aggression could be a good thing. It depends on how you look at it. If you look at aggression as being, I'm going to be aggressive in building my house from scratch, or I'm going to be aggressive in finding a new job, that could then, we could take aggression as being something positive if we judge that to be so. You see. So you have, it's all in how do you perceive? How are you thinking? Where are you at internally? Are you, and then the other thing is, do you succumb to the lessons or do you overcome them? It's your choice. You can succumb or you can overcome. But the thing is, if you have a lesson that you have not learned, when you quote unquote die, as you call it,
take it with you.
You're going to take that lesson with you because you are committed to learning it. So we would suggest that everyone put a big effort, let me release myself from that word, but to have a stick-to-itiveness to change your life. You have the power to change your life. Nobody else can change your life for you. Only you can do that. And you have the power. You've always had the power, you see.
Okay, go ahead, Carol. Shut us down, dear.
Hopefully my bandwidth will keep up. We are ready to close the podcast. Kathy, give us a preview for next week, please.
Well, if you're broke, you need to tune in because we're going to practice thinking opulent prosperity so you can manifest it in your life. So let's change those money woes and let's get to earning.
Now that sounds like a good one. I'm looking forward to that one. Realm, thank you very much. Kathy, thank you. Transformation Network, thank you. And of course, listeners, thank you for being with us until we create each other again.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the realm and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.